What's going down, everybody? It's your boy, That Guy Mile High, tuning back in for another reaction time. Reaction time? That's a new one. I ain't never said that one before. But anyway, shout out to Audit the Audit for Officer detains his superior and gets him investigated. But he had to been doing some foul stuff for that to happen. So yeah, I'm curious to see what he was doing and how, said officer was able to get, handle business and, what just transpired, the full context. Anyways, before we jump into that, though, we got to give a big shout out to all the members of the channel. You dig what I'm saying? Keith, Christy Poe, Funny Farm, Manly, Misty Summers, Sniper, Trey420, Driver Thoughts, Ryan Parks, Kara, Marie, Carrie, Mr. Pay It Forward, Happy Chick, Epic Service, Lynn Willow, Jamal, Holla Girl, Taylor, Holla Boy, Marla, Diesel, Nick, Creatively Insane, Nicole, Aaron, Mama Dukes, Robin Lynn, Amy Jane Doe, Liz, Nugget, My Hood Life, and Gary Willis. Shout out to all of them. Gang, gang, gang. You dig what I'm saying? They are the actual, the members of the channel. They hit that join button down below so they can get shout outs and all the videos and the lives and take advantage of some perks. So you should think about doing that too. You know what I'm saying? Join the family. Join the mafia. You know what I'm saying? You can be a made man or made woman today by hitting the join button down below. You got 3 different options to choose from. You got the $2.99 option. You got the $4.99 option. You got the $9.99 option. But I got something even better for you. I got that free 99 option too. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and just help your boy hit 100K one day. You know what I'm saying? I gotta drop a thug tier for that one. You know what I mean? Gotta drop a thug tier. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. Anyways, man, let's go ahead and jump into this. Yeah. Hit the full screen and let's go. Don't judge me. Sometimes I gotta let that thug passion out, you know what I'm saying? Thug cry.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers officer speeding, off-duty authority, and pace clocking, and is brought to us by WPTV's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Before we dive into the interaction, I want to give a big thanks to the sponsor of this episode, Policy Chief.
All right. Shout out to, you and your sponsors and advertisers.
September 17th, 2017, Officer Mark Son of the Boynton Beach Police Department pulled over Major Michael Johnson for allegedly driving an unmarked police vehicle 97 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone while off duty in Boynton Beach, Florida. Major Johnson pulled over to the side of the road and activated the vehicle's emergency lights as Officer Son approached.
I'm sorry, sir? Seriously? Well, you were speeding. What's that? You're right. I'm trying to do my job. Okay. Good. Temper, that's a tech.
He said, seriously?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Seriously, go ahead. I'm going to write you a ticket out of the discretion.
Officer Son informs Major Johnson that he was speeding, but exercises his discretion not to issue Major Johnson a citation. Under Section 316.072 of the Florida statutes, the drivers of government-owned vehicles must follow the state's traffic laws unless there is a specific legal exception. In the case of police vehicles, which are defined as authorized emergency vehicles by Section 316.003 of the Florida statutes, officers who are responding to an emergency call in the pursuit of an actual or suspected violator of the law or responding to a fire alarm are permitted to, quote, park or stand, irrespective of the provisions of this chapter. Proceed past a red or stop signal or stop sign, but only after slowing down as may be necessary for safe operation. Exceed the maximum speed limit so long as the driver does not endanger life or property. Disregard regulations governing direction or movement or turning in specified directions so long as the driver does not endanger life or property. Florida law does not require officers to turn their lights or sirens on to speed or otherwise disregard traffic laws as permitted. But as traffic laws are established on the state level, some states do impose this obligation. For example, Section 56-5-760 of the South Carolina Code of Laws states that, quote, the exemptions granted to an authorized emergency vehicle apply only when the vehicle is making use of an audible signal and visual signals, except that an authorized emergency vehicle operated as a police vehicle need not use an audible signal nor display a visual signal when the vehicle is being used to obtain evidence of a speeding violation, respond to a suspected suspected crime in progress when use of an audible or visual signal, or both, could reasonably result in the destruction of evidence
that
or
makes
escape of a
sense.
suspect, or surveil another vehicle or its occupants who are suspected of involvement in a crime. Although Major Johnson was driving in a government-owned police vehicle, he would not have been authorized to speed in this situation, as he was
Right, he had nowhere to
off-duty
go.
and not responding to any emergency situations or pursuing a violator of the law.
But you know you were speeding, so... Yep. Okay. All right. Drive safe.
Wait, he called over. Hold on 1 minute. Major pulls over Officer John by activating the lights and is under. Wait. So he got pulled over for speeding, got let off, knowing that his ass was fucking wrong, and then chose to turn around out of fucking spite and go pull the cop over that pulled him over. Like, what kind of weird ass. Bro, this is why you got fired, bro. Like, this is why your ass got investigated right there. That was one simple move of you doing that stupid shit.
You seriously talk to me like that? You just failed to signal your lane change, and you also failed to make your left turn.
My left turn.
When you made your left turn off I-95 on the overpass, you didn't have your signal on. Are you seriously serious about this?
First of all, I didn't know who you were.
I
First of all,
got that. What was
I was
my...
at 97 miles an hour behind you. 97.
What was my speed, Mark?
97.
What was my speed?
97.
Not a chance.
Okay.
About 1 minute after Officer Son returned to his vehicle after completing the traffic stop, Major Johnson pulled over Officer Son by activating the lights on his unmarked vehicle and alleged that Officer Son failed to signal when changing lanes and making a left turn.
So now we
While there is
playing
generally no legal prohibition
the
against
tit
an
for tat
off-duty
game?
police officer effectuating a traffic stop, some police departments have written policies and procedures regarding when off-duty officers may conduct traffic stops. For example, the Cincinnati Police Department's policy regarding the emergency operation of police vehicles and pursuit driving states that, quote, officers will not attempt to stop vehicles while off duty unless it is a life-threatening situation which, if permitted to continue, could cause serious physical harm to innocent victims. Similarly, the Vancouver Police Department's policy on off-duty law enforcement actions explains that, quote, initiating law enforcement action while off duty is generally discouraged. Officers should not attempt to initiate enforcement action when witnessing minor crimes, such as suspected intoxicated drivers, reckless driving, or minor property crimes. Such incidents
'cause you
should be
off duty,
promptly
you're not-
reported to the appropriate law
Right.
enforcement agency.
It's
Although
not
the
your
Boynton
job right
Beach
now.
Police Department's
You are a
policies are not
fucking
publicly
civilian at that
available,
point.
courts usually do not take department policies into consideration when determining the legal validity of a traffic stop. It is also evident from this interaction that Major Johnson's primary motive for pulling over Officer Son was to
spite.
retaliate against
Right,
him. And Major Johnson
being
later
spiteful.
admits that he pulled him over because he just wanted to, quote-unquote, talk to him. In the 1996 case of Wren versus United States, a unanimous Supreme Court ruling concluded that the constitutional reasonableness of a traffic stop does not depend on the actual motivations of the individual officers involved. This decision signed off on the common police practice of pretextual stops, where officers pull over an individual for a minor traffic violation when their actual motivation is to investigate the individual for a more serious offense or take some other action. In this situation, although Major Johnson's stop of Officer Son was clearly pretextual, if Officer Son did actually fail to signal, a court would likely find that the detention was reasonable.
Not a chance. I've never hit 100 in this car in my life.
Okay. But you also agreed you were speeding,
Is
right?
your body camera on?
It is on.
Please make sure it is on.
It is on. It was on before.
I agreed that I was speeding. You want to write me a ticket?
No, I didn't write you a
really
ticket.
talk to me like that?
He
Sir, you
did
stuck your hands out
not.
the
What
window
are
going,
you
seriously?
talking about? Bruh. What? This dude said, yo, you know you were speeding, right? You said, yeah, I was. Well, like, you know what I'm saying? They both kind of sat there in a little bit of confusion, like, huh? This nigga's like, bro, for real? Like, come on, Major. Like, what the fuck? And you over here, like, you really pulling me over, bro? Like, nigga, he didn't know who the fuck was driving this cop car or this undercover car, nor did he give a fuck. He just knew that the motherfucker was speeding. He was just doing his job. And he exercised his right to be like, it's cool, player. We both agree that you was speeding? All right, fair enough. Thank you, Major. Have a good rest of your night. And he went and let you go about your day. You created this unnecessary ass interaction to where now you, sir, Mr. Major, sir, former Major, sir, are, making yourself look like an ass. Like, I don't know
Put my
that he
hands out the
necessarily
window
lost
so
his
you
job
didn't
over this
do
or
something
should, but
silly.
No,
he
sir.
should most definitely
Okay, Mark,
be demoted.
listen.
When have I done something silly?
I didn't say you are doing
Demoted.
something silly. I said so you don't do something silly.
What would I do that's
Well,
silly?
apparently. Okay, Mark, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Listen, all I'm saying is the traffic laws apply to me just like they do to you. And I admit I'm speeding, and I'm doing it on your body camera, but I was not going 97 miles an hour.
I was behind you at 97 miles an hour.
Very good. But I wasn't going 97.
Okay. So how fast were you going then?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But I know I wasn't doing 97 because I've never done 97 in this in my life, even while I'm working.
Officer San argues
Bruh.
that Major Johnson was driving at
Bruh.
97 miles per hour because he was driving
Lie
97
again.
miles per hour behind him, which implies that he was measuring Major Johnson's speed using a method called pace clocking.
Pace
As the Fifth
clocking.
District Court of
Pacing.
Appeals of Florida explained in the 2006
only
case
works
of
in some
Department of
states,
Highway
though.
Safety versus Roberts, quote, when an officer pace clocks a motorist, the officer follows the motorist for a sufficient distance at the same speed and, using the speedometer on the police vehicle, judges the speed of the motorist. Although pacing is an inexact speed estimation technique, courts have generally approved of it as both a valid method of establishing reasonable suspicion to conduct a traffic stop and a legally sufficient method of proving that an individual was speeding. However, due to the imprecise nature of pacing as a method of clocking speed, speeding tickets based on pace speeds can be successfully challenged in court. For an officer to accurately determine a driver's speed through pacing, they must keep an equal distance between the front bumper of the police vehicle and the rear bumper of the suspect's vehicle for the entire duration of the pace. Otherwise, the officer's speed won't match that of the car they are pacing. If the officer starts pacing while far away from the vehicle and closes the gap, the calculated pacing speed will really be the officer's catch-up speed, which will be higher than the suspect's actual speed.
Yep.
Pace clocking is the most
That's why
accurate
it's-
when the officer drives closely behind the suspect for a reasonable distance and keeps the distance between the vehicle's bumpers the same throughout the pacing. While it is not
That
evident
shit's
from the
super hard
video
to
how
do, though.
well Officer San followed pace clocking best practices, a court would almost certainly affirm his calculation of Major Johnson's speed as a reasonable basis for pulling him over.
Right. This ticket
But this
just
is
wouldn't have stuck.
ridiculous. Seriously? And then you sit there and I'm willing to give you my driver's license.
I'm allowed to do discussion, am I not? For the same.
Remember in 2006 when you stopped me in my Tahoe and you said I was speeding on South
Yes,
Central?
Officer Adams and I, we stopped you because your vehicle matched the description of a
Yes.
41 vehicle from West
And
Palm
did
Beach that was involved in a
make
shooting.
A big deal out of any of it?
You shoved your hands out the window, did the same
I
thing,
always-
and said, seriously? You said, seriously? I'm like, we looked at each other like, are you kidding? We didn't know you were in Canton. We didn't know if this was an undercover operation. And then you start arguing with us that you weren't speeding.
Just like now, you
I'm
got
not here to give anyone a citation. That's not even half the time I don't plan on giving citations when I get out of my vehicle. So that's not it. I give less citations. I give more breaks than I do citations.
Well aware.
Okay? I'm not here to argue with you, but
So if you well aware that this cop is definitely one of your more lenient fucking cops, why are you giving him such a hard time, bro? He got distinct fucking like interactions with you where it's like, bro, you do this shit every time. It don't matter who, why, where, what, when. It don't matter. Motherfucker, you gonna have a problem with anybody doing their job, interfering with your fucking life. Like, fuck out of here, you entitled bastard. Just 'cause
You don't have to
a
notify
badge
the chief. I'm
don't
not gonna
mean
tell
shit.
anyone.
I have no choice but to by policy. So I will let him know that I was stopped for speeding by you tonight, and that's just the way it is. But even so, all right, we're good.
I'm good. All right.
After this altercation,
Look, we
a
shook
13-month investigation into Major Johnson was conducted based on claims of unbecoming conduct and unsatisfactory performance. While he initially received a written reprimand for both claims, City Manager Laurie Laverriere later rejected the unbecoming conduct allegation because Major Johnson did not actually receive a citation for speeding, despite the fact that the Internal Affairs report stated that speeding is a type of behavior that would violate the city's unbecoming conduct rule, and officers do not have to receive a citation to violate the policy. Overall, Major Johnson gets
It's
an
a
F
I
for
was gonna
speeding
say,
in an
a
unmarked
straight
patrol
F,
vehicle,
bro.
maintaining a hostile demeanor while
Maybe
admitting
you
to
could
committing
get
the
away with
violation,
giving him
and for
giving him a
conducting what
D,
appeared to be
like
a
I said.
pretextual and retaliatory.
I don't think that he necessarily, this is like an interaction or a situation that deserved for this dude to lose his job. I don't think that. I do think he's an asshole. I do think that he's a fucking, a dickweed. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he really just more or less needed to be demoted. Like, you shouldn't have any sort of commanding say over anybody else because you can hardly control your motherfucking self. You know what I'm saying? And not saying he can't control himself in like you know, a decent manner. He's just very like combative. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't seem like he takes criticism well at all. And I feel like being a police officer, especially someone of like a higher, you know, ranking, should be able to, you know, one, be self accountable, and two, know how to, like, you know what I mean, take constructive criticism from, you know, people, like, especially in something as minuscule as this. Like, yeah, I don't know. This shit was weird. Like, this dude definitely
It is
didn't
clear
need to
from the
lose his
video
job,
that
but
these officers had a
he needed to
previous
get in
encounter
trouble,
that
though.
added to the inflammatory nature of this one, and much of the exchange between the officers registered as the product of workplace drama. Every workplace shares its fair share of drama, but
Facts.
problems arise when that workplace is interlaced with the authority to detain and arrest individuals and make life or death decisions. Although this minor dispute did not result in any real damage to anyone, there have been instances in the past where disputes within a department resulted in dangerous and deadly outcomes. By no means am I suggesting that Major Johnson or Officer Son presented any danger to one another, but there is clearly some unresolved tension between the two that may warrant
Facts.
professional intervention. Mental health within the workplace is certainly an issue that every industry must take seriously, and many police departments could likely benefit from more proactive intervention and resolution of these issues. If Major Johnson truly felt that Officer Son was maliciously stopping him for speeding, then he should have followed the appropriate channel of complaint, rather than conducting an impromptu off-duty stop. Officer Son gets an A- for conducting a legitimate traffic stop on Major Johnson, engaging in a civil dialogue with the Major, and for remaining calm and professional throughout the encounter. There is no denying that Major Johnson's conduct was unreasonable, and the fact that
Facts.
he was the subject of a year-long investigation that resulted in a
Shows
short-lived
that he does this
reprimand is
shit
a
all the
testament to
time.
that.
Yeah.
One of Officer Son's biggest mistakes was not issuing the Major a citation when he had the chance. Not
he
only
should've.
did this offer the Major an opportunity to have his reprimand reversed later on, but it also sent a clear message that even a workplace grudge will not tarnish the discretionary leniency that is often afforded to fellow officers. The fact that the Boynton city manager elected to unilaterally reject the allegation after Major Johnson clearly admitted to speeding on camera multiple times and was found to be guilty of violating policy after an internal investigation perfectly demonstrates the bottlenecking effect of local politics
Facts.
on the process of officer accountability. Local elections are
shit's
extremely
wild.
important to the
All
ecosystem
because
of
he didn't
policing,
give a
and
fucking
electing
ticket.
officials that represent the police force you want to see in your city or town is one of the most impactful ways to make a difference. Ultimately, I commend Officer Son for having the courage to confront his superior officer about his driving habits, and I hope that his actions inspire other officers to hold one another
Yeah,
accountable
shit, he
for
did
their
his
behavior.
job.
Let us know if there's an interaction
You
or legal
know,
topic you would like.
He should have wrote the ticket. I think all of us wanted him to write him the ticket, but we all knew that that wasn't gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like we all know that shit wasn't gonna happen. But outside of the fact that he didn't write a ticket, like, you can't get mad at player for doing what he had to do and handling business. You dig what I'm saying? He handled business. You dig? So yeah, y'all let me know what you thought about that down in the comments below. Even the law has to stay within the law. You dig what I mean? Not saying that they always do, but some cops hold their fellow officers and superiors accountable. They may not necessarily give them tickets, but they will, bring the situation to them head on when forced to. There are those cops that will do that, like Mr. Gentleman here did. So yeah, y'all let me know what you thought about that down in the comments below. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.